Hi, I'm Greg from Original Bow Drill. Let's get right to showing you how to make an ember with your bow drill kit. First thing I want you to take out is your little plastic bag. It has 4 things in it: a piece of jute twine, a bent penny, a toothpick, and a 3x5 card. First thing you want to do, pull out the jute twine. Cut off a piece about a foot long, like so. Put the rest aside. Take that piece, cut it in half, double it over, cut it in half again. You now have 4 little pieces of jute twine. I use jute twine because it bursts into flame very, very easily. Now you're going to take each of the 4 pieces, you're going to untwist them. You'll find that they separate into 3 pieces. And then you're going to strip down each one of those pieces into its bare threads. Don't be lazy in doing this. You want to strip it down till it's just bare threads. And you keep piling them up in a pile. When you got all 4 of them made into just threads, this is what you're going to have, just a ball of threads. Put it next to my shoe, you might be able to see it a little easier. Take this and you form it into your bird's nest. This is your tinder bundle. You know what a bird's nest looks like. Just a little pocket that your ember is going to drop into. You're going to blow that ember and the jute is going to burst into flames. Okay. Take that jute tinder bundle and put it someplace where it's easy to get to when you finally get your ember, so you won't lose it. Second thing you want to take out is your toothpick. You're going to use your toothpick to hold the ember in place when you move your hearthboard away. I'll show you. Take out your 3x5 card. Your 3x5 card is your ember catcher. Fold it over so that when your ember can be transferred easily into your bird's nest. Take the toothpick. I put mine on top of my bird's nest so I know where it is. Take the 3x5 card. This is your hearthboard. You're going to put the 3x5 card on the ground and put your hearthboard right on top of it. You have 2 notches in your hearthboard. As the directions say, you're going to use one of them. You're going to leave the other one alone so that you always have a factory notch, so you know how to make it. So you always have something to look back on, so you make your future spindle holes exactly right. After you make a few fires, your hearthboard is going to start looking like this. And you can keep making fires. You can put one on this side. You can put one between these on this side. So you'll get quite a few fires out of a single hearthboard. Let's put that hearthboard down onto the 3x5 card with the crease right under the notch. Okay, the last thing in your little baggie is a bent penny. This is your bearing block. Take the bent penny and it fits right into the bearing block. Put it in so it's a dish, not a dome. Your bearing block, the penny, is important for beginners to reduce the amount of friction there is up in the bearing block. The more friction you reduce up here, the more work that will go into your hearthboard. One side of the spindle is kind of pencil shaped. One end of the spindle is a lot blunter. The pencil end goes into the bearing block. A smaller contact point, so less friction. Okay, from here, I'll put my bearing block down. I want to put my spindle into the bow. The bow comes from the factory at approximately the right tension. If you think you need to change it, you just loosen one rope and put the knot closer or further away. Your bow is straight. A straight bow works much better than the traditional curved bow. You'll notice that one end has the sharp edges sanded off a little. That's where you hold it. You don't hold your bow in the middle. You hold it down here at the end. Now you have to put one coil around your spindle. How do you do that? Take the spindle, pencil end down, blunt end up. Put it inside. Now holding the rope, just turn it down. When you get it like this, it usually is pretty hard to finish it off for beginners, to get it wrapped. Just put it under your toe and then pull the bow up. The spindle will go right into place. Has a little bit of tension on it, has a little bit of spring on it. You can hold it with one finger. It's a little springy. It's going to bounce out of there when you try to make your fire. That's common. Just put it back in and try it again. Okay? Beginners have a lot of trouble with their penny falling out. You shouldn't have, but there, the spindle is touching the penny. Nothing falls out. You take your foot. You get in this position, resting on your knee. You take your foot, put your heel down on the ground, and the ball of your foot goes right next to the spindle hole in the hearthboard. Right there. And now you're holding the bow, you're holding the spindle, and the key is start very slow and very gently. At this time we're just trying to mate the hearthboard and the spindle. We're not trying to make fire. We're just going to get them mated. And you just start rotating it quite gently. That one went real easy. They usually don't go as easy as that. Quite gently, and then you press down a little bit more. Notice my arm is wrapped around my knee. It's stable that way. I've got my weight back here. As I want to put more weight on here, I just kind of lean forward a little bit. Your bow, you keep it parallel to the ground. If you want to tighten up the rope a little, you can bring it up a little. You want to loosen the rope a little, you bring it down a little. But what I'm doing here is I'm just mating the spindle to the hearthboard. I'm not trying to get fire yet. Getting a little smoke there, but I really don't care about that. What I want to do is get them mated, and I want to knock wood dust down onto the ember catcher. I want to fill that notch up with wood dust, because as the wood dust falls into that notch, it cools off right away. Until I have that notch filled up with wood dust, insulating it from the cold air, it'll be very difficult to make fire. Okay, all I'm doing is mating my hearthboard to my spindle. I'm going to continue doing that till I feel I have a nice little bit of wood dust in my notch, and it will protect the dust from the cold air and allow the hot wood dust to form together and finally get enough that it'll form an ember. Now, you can see I've got a good amount of smoke coming up. Okay, I believe I should have enough to have an ember now. Take my toothpick, hold the ember in place, and move the hearthboard away from the ember. You can see the smoke coming up from the ember. Fan it a little bit with my hand. Once you have a smoking ember, the heat kind of lets the resins in the wood stick the wood dust together, so it's not that fragile, and it'll burn for about 5 minutes. So you can give yourself a little bit of a rest before we pick up our tinder bundle and get ready to blow this into flame. Smoking nicely now. I just pick it up, tip it, and now my tinder bundle as I said, jute bursts into flames pretty easily. That's how you make fire. You won't be successful on your first try, but you will be successful. Enjoy.